You just can't help but smile every time you think of Lane.
He's just a great human being. And my life and the lives of all the people who are here today were touched by this man.
This day is off to a wonderful start.
Friendship.
Salud.
Caring.
She is so beautiful.
Oh.
Humor.
She had a crease in her nose when she was very young.
And family.
I'm with my family, and I'm as happy as it's possible for a human to be.
Are the things that stand out in my mind about Lane.
What a life.
Lane was the most experienced broadcast television news producer ever.
Karen, Kevin, Kimberly, Kelly, Casey. As Lane would say, so many asses to kiss, so little time. But this time, it's Lane's ass we're lined up to kiss, and we mean it with gratitude.
I just have never encountered anybody in this business who was, A, so good at what he did and enjoyed it so much and entertained the rest of us and didn't have a mean bone in his body. We were all in this together, and he seemed to understand that.
Lane and I started working together in the 1960s, back in our small hometowns in southern Illinois.
WOKV with Lane Venardos.
Lane was a big shot then, the program director of the mighty WOKZ radio in Alton, Illinois.
I first met Lane 40 years ago at WBBM-TV in Chicago. He was the assistant news director. I was a 6 p.m. producer. He would come into the newsroom and be screaming, WBBM-TV, Channel 2, Chicago. Or another favorite was Tall Tower, Full Power, broadcasting from the nation's capital. He made everything so much fun.
I met Lane Venardos when I was 19 years old in the Washington Bureau. I wanted to be him. I loved Lane for loving his job. I loved him for coming in the morning and being so joyous at being at work. He just was everything to me.
CC, this is Edit Room 1. We're hearing but not seeing Nelson Benton at the White House lawn.
When Lane was running the evening news in Washington, he would devise novel ways to tell you that the bull had killed your great piece. My favorite was when he would actually sing the message, as in, hello, Spencer, boom, 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 boom.
What I remember best was one Laneism. You can tell the end of the world in 2 minutes, but if we have to, we can get it down to 1:45.
It was January 28th, 1986, and it was my first day at the evening news. And all of a sudden, we look up at our monitor, and the Challenger is going down. And I'm mesmerized. I can't take my eyes off it. And Lane says, welcome to hard news. Let's go to work.
I've never met anybody like Lane who cared so much about every detail of every project he got involved in. And he cared passionately about making CBS News look and feel important.
This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. As for the next 2 hours, you experience life inside Mikhail Gorbachev's Soviet Union. 7 days in May.
This is a CBS News special.
From CBS News, this is America Tonight.
For the next 2 hours, we will take a look at the reality behind that concern. Much of it is first-person gritty.
In 1989, when CBS News journeyed into China to cover Soviet leader Gorbachev's visit, it became something else. We were there on that night. We watched a country shut down and tried to shut out the world.
This was about to happen, and suddenly that's exactly what happened.
Lane Venardos was in charge.
Back at the Beijing hotel where CBS News was headquartered, Lane Venardos, the CBS News executive in charge, was having his own problems.
How do I know you're who you say you are? We think turning off a satellite transmission is a very serious prospect. We have a written agreement with the Chinese Foreign Ministry that allows us to broadcast until 0100 Sunday.
As viewers in America watched on their television sets, Venardos held off the Chinese officials as long as he could.
I think we ought to have something in writing that says the agreement is now broken.
We expect to hear from President George Bush just after the top of the hour.
And I thought about all those times when Lane Venardos was in the control room, chaos on a big breaking story or something. He would say in my ear, "Dan, seems to be in here like I'm trying to change the fan belt on a moving Mercedes."
Our boys don't show it yet. Do we have Pet in Ohio?
No.
He was a great newsman. He was fast. He was funny.
Comb your hair.
I have a bald spot here.
Comb both of them.
Maybe a little,
That's good.
And he made life bearable because of his humor.
Good luck, Leslie. Chemistry, widen out. Yes, you have a day and a month. We're going to release your kids as soon as this is over.
You know, many times over the last 15 years, I've thought about Lane Venardos and his kindness and his decency and his empathy and huge heart.
He was a man that supported his people in the field, a man that we respected greatly. He loved his job. He loved his co-workers.
I'm going in the control room so I can talk to Leslie's ear.
Regardless of what position you held, Lane always treated you with the utmost respect.
He was a whiz in the control room.
We're on the verge here of having these people never do a remote again. Make sure they understand that, Jack, because I'm not going to take any more abuse down here.
It was sort of like watching someone keep all the plates spinning at the same time. He managed to do that, a kind of circus performance of his own.
He was the one who really made us look good.
We were working with Bruce Morton. Lane was producing the exit poll story, and we crashed.
What is it, or where is it? Well, it's in his machine.
Lane was in his element. In his element. As he said, I haven't crashed a story all week. It's about time.
Dan asks her the first question, but that is not on the minute-and-a-half clock. Dan's first question is on our clock back here.
I was so riveted by Lane's performance.
Venardos.
It was 6:15 and none of the overseas pieces were in. It looked like a disaster. Except there was Lane chortling away and cracking everybody up with his Dear Diary one-liners. Lane was my very first lesson in keeping a sense of humor in the midst of disaster.
Lane had the best party factor of anybody at CBS News ever. From Switzerland to France to New York to LA, every time Lane blew into my life, it was always with lots to do.
Lane was brilliant, and he was funny. Lane was incisive, and he was funny. Lane could fix a script like nobody else, and he was funny. Did I tell you he was funny? He was really funny.
I was doing a story on a group of Maoist guerrillas in Peru, which gives you an idea of how old this story is. And I thought it was just terrific. You know, there I was, and I filed the story, and it got on the air, and Lane called, and he said, Richard, that was just the kind of story we want on the evening news. You did a great job. It had a thin veneer of depth. That's a compliment, right?
And he always had these what became known as Laneisms. One is when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Never make the same mistake once.
No good deed goes unpunished.
You're only as good as your next piece.
Flexibility is the key to our success.
I loved that he was so real and so loving and all the stuff he loved. Like he loved those kids, the 4Ks, and Karen and the grandchildren, and he loved CBS. He loved all of us. Lane Venardos was the best.
Hi, it's Mark Burnett, and I just wanted to give a heartfelt tribute to Lane. You know, you meet a lot of people in the TV business, but some people just stand out and stay with you forever, and Lane was such a person in my life. One of the hardest working, smartest producers I ever met. And by adding Lane into a production, it just raised the enthusiasm and the kindness of how people treat other people. And Lane is so missed by me and was so kind to me, so kind to my family, and God bless you.
And just remember, because you're retired doesn't mean you can't outwit, outlast, and outplay the bastards. Aloha.
Welcome to this circus train adventure. That's me on board the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Blue Unit circus train.
Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday! Yeah, baby! Yeah! Happy birthday, Dad. You're 60 years old and you got a pie in the face from a clown for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. I've been trying to fix this up all day. Yeah! Yeah! I love you so much, Dad.
I love you too, Kevin.
You're my favorite person.
Thanks for the surprise. Consider retirement. It's working for me. Well, here we go again. Off to Alaska. Off to our first adventure. Crabs. The eating kind. This is living. We're on an elephant ride.
Absolutely terrified.
Okay, so we're here at the beach at Kuta.
Kuta.
Right, and a guy tried to sell me a hat, and I said, I've got a hat. And he said, how about one for your mom? Good day, mate. We're down under. We are down under.
Over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
The Lane I miss is the man who devoted himself to his family and friends with abandon. A gentle giant, sensitive and thoughtful and vulnerable. That was the man I loved. He was my hero.
A railroad car for my train. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. Neato car.
Far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops.
What I loved the most about him was his commitment and his love for his family. It was simply infectious. Lane, thank you for 40 great years, and thank you for your friendship.
When I heard the news that he was gone, I just stopped and said a little prayer for the soul of about the most decent man I've met in network news.
And the record shows there is no better broadcast news pro. There is no better man.
Lane always referred to the hallways outside Exec Row in the 524 building as our canyon of heroes. I truly believe, Lane, you walk in the canyon of heroes now.
I'm producing the last of these circus videos here in the edit room at Maui High-End Video Productions. Thanks for watching. Aloha.